Donald Trump is something that I would not normally be talking about because I wouldn't be able to believe that the arrest of Donald Trump was real. Okay. Um, but President Trump over the weekend posted on Truth Social that it is very real. He said he expects to be arrested by tomorrow. Now, that may change because Bragg and the powers that be are going through some things right now. But the very idea that they are even discussing the arrest of a president of the United States is beyond sick. It's twisted. It's hard to even put your mind around it. And I know they've had this fantasy for a very, very long time. No doubt about it. A very long time. And now they found a way to make it happen. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to go over the events of the weekend. There's some major new developments. And of course, we're going to take your calls on this as well. Now, we don't know exactly what they plan on charging President Trump with. We don't. We think it has something to do with campaign finance reform. We know it has some connection to the Michael Cohen arrangement that he made with Stormy Daniels. We do know that. All right. But we don't know specifically what the charges that they're talking about will be. The grand jury in New York with Bragg is meeting today. There is a surprise witness that'll be there. And Michael Cohen is on standby as a rebuttal witness to that witness. We're going to get to that. But there's a lot of speculation on why this is happening. And I'll tell you exactly why it's happening. President Trump has a double-digit lead in every single poll against any possible opponent. And these are the polls we see. Now, I talk about this a lot because it's very important for people to understand this. There are two types of polls. There are the polls that we see and talk about in the news that are on television and in the news media. And then there are what sometimes are referred to as the internal polls. The polls that we see, the ones that are available to the public, are push polls. The polls are done and published so that they can push public opinion in a certain direction on something. All right. Now, the scientific polls, the internal polls, are polls that we never see. These are polls that candidates and parties do so that they can know what's really going on. And in the public push polls that we've seen, there have been a lot of polls with Trump versus all kinds of people. And in every poll, he's in a double-digit lead. And most of those polls have involved other potential Republican candidates. And DeSantis is always there. And I'm not talking about just the straw poll at CPAC. I'm talking about all the polls. I've not seen a poll where President Trump did not have a double-digit lead. Now, the internal polls that the Uniparty are doing, the Democrat-Republican establishment, the internal polls that the Uniparty are doing, they've been doing all kinds of matchups beyond just the Trump-DeSantis matchups that we've been seeing. They've been doing polling of President Trump versus any possible imaginative combination in the general election. Trump versus Biden, Trump versus Kamala, Trump versus Newsom, Trump versus DeSantis, Trump versus, whoever. And in all of their internal polling that they don't share with us, obviously, he's way in the lead there as well. So what's going on here with this arrest of Trump is he's undefeatable. They can't defeat the guy. They don't understand it. That, since President Trump came down the escalator, they've been going after this guy. They've been going after him with investigations and scandals and all kinds of other things. All right. And still, his support is huge. In fact, his support may be stronger now than it ever has been. So they're desperate. The campaign has started up now. So if you watch a little bit of MSNBC, which I know is very difficult. I have a hard time watching MSNBC myself. And MSNBC, it's interesting to watch, and it's a good place to go and watch because you get an inside look at what the Uniparty is thinking every step of the way when it comes to Trump. And they're very honest about their opinions on this. Every investigation, every harassment that they've had against President Trump, every slander, whether it was Access Hollywood or the Russia hoax, whatever it was, Mueller investigation, they're always saying this, the same thing. And they're saying that now with this arrest. Well, his support is strong. Trump's support is loyal. But when they learn this, when this happens, they'll finally wake up and drop him. And they have in their mind that if they get a mugshot out there of President Trump, and it is everywhere for everyone to see, finally, his supporters are going to stop supporting him. That's what they tell themselves. Now, I must tell you, I know, but I'm going to tell you this. Elon Musk and now even Chris Rock have weighed in on this. If they do arrest Donald Trump and they get their fantasy of the mugshot and the fingerprinting and the arraignment and all of these other things, not only is it going to make him more popular than he's ever been, a lot of people who would never support Donald Trump, I think, are going to join him and support him because it looks like what it is. They're trying to make a political prisoner out of him. If they arrest Donald Trump, which Donald Trump is expecting to happen himself, so people say, you really think they're going to arrest Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump thinks he's going to be arrested, so that tells you something. So we got to go by that. That's what makes it real. That's why we're talking about this today. Now, I'm going to take our first break. When we get back, I'm going to get into some of the details and other information. And our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Don't sit in the sun.
Hey, guys. Make sure you like the video, and I do want to hear your calls on this today. Where are we? Oh, yes. So tell me yes or no. Do you think they're going to arrest President Trump? Yes or no? Do you think they're going to arrest President Trump? He thinks they're going to arrest him. Now, that I don't mean tomorrow, because, it may not happen tomorrow. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking about in general. Oh, boy. Sorry there was no sound in the beginning. Someone decided to text me some very, very upsetting and bad news right as I was about to go on the air. I mean, as the sounder was playing to start the show, I don't know why someone would do that. They texted me like very, very bad and upsetting news, like 30 seconds before I was going to hit my mic button to on. So it threw me off a little bit. I was like, I would almost think it was on purpose. I know. Oh my goodness. The 3 hours of the show, I need to be like free of the world other than what I'm focusing. I mean, doing a radio show, it's like a performance. Like, if I'm going to talk about this when I get back for a second. I'm going to take calls because I'm not going to share the bad news. I can't share the bad news with you guys. But I mean, it was just as I was about to hit the microphone button on and turn YouTube on, and they texted me very, very bad information and about something. Just as I was going on, it was like ridiculous. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to give you guys a little behind the scenes. So this, this is just I probably should not share this on the air, but what the heck? Right as I was about to go live on the air today, you see, you guys don't know, you don't know what goes on here. Just as I was about to go live on the air, about less than 30 seconds, I want to talk about this, less than 30 seconds before I was going to turn my microphone on, I get a text message from somebody with some very bad and depressing and upsetting news. Why they did this, I have no freaking idea. But when, you're getting, I mean, just imagine, I know what a great way to start the day and start the show. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is or what it's about. It's, everything's going to be good. But a lot of you people out there have my cell phone number. All right. And I'll just throw this out, and that's fine. That's fine. I give my cell phone number to too many people, and then people give it to other people, and that's fine. But during the 3 hours that I'm on the air, I don't need to hear any like really bad stuff. Okay. You can wait till 9. And just as and I knew exactly what I was going to open up with, had where I was going to go, what I was going to do, what I was going to talk about, exactly what I was planning on going, and then boom, ding, and I checked because you never know. I was just talking with Steve before I went on the air. I thought maybe Steve was texting me. It was not Steve. It was someone else, and someone decided to text me like very, very bad and upsetting information less than 30 seconds before I turned my mic on to go on the air this morning. And it's not a troll. It's somebody I know that shouldn't be texting me personal things while I'm on the air. I apologize for going personal there on you guys a little bit when there's all this heavy news out there, but it's hard to focus when you get some kind of news. The 3 hours that I'm on the air need to be like a personal life free zone. All right. Anyway, guys on hold, stand by. My name is Brian. Now I got to tell you, it is raining. In fact, it took me longer than I expected to get out of the house today. I was not sure I was going to make it on time this morning because of the rain. It was raining so hard this morning, and I didn't want to leave my house until it stopped raining. But let me tell you, when it's raining like this, you may see a wet spot on your ceiling. You know what that means? If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. That's right. And when you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. He'll never sell you a roof that you do not need. And if you just need a simple repair, Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting will do it. That wet spot on your ceiling might just be a little tiny thing the size of a quarter. But you know what happens to a small wet spot on your ceiling? It becomes a medium-sized wet spot. And you know what becomes of that wet spot after that? It becomes a big problem because that leak in your roof is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Listen, Steve had a wet spot on his ceiling. He ignored it. Then he got another wet spot, a wet spot here, a wet spot there. Next thing you knew, he had to not only replace his entire roof, but 40% of the drywall in his home was infected with deadly black mold from the moisture, and that was just the beginning. Now, Tom Laporta did a great job rebuilding Steve's house, but if Steve would have called Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting when he saw that first wet spot on the ceiling, he probably would have just needed a simple repair. I'm going to give you Tom's number. He is a good MAGA guy. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, and he covers the entire state of Florida. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. Online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, let me just do a quick recap, and then I'll go to the phones. And another reminder, those of you that have my cell phone number, do not text message me with bad news and personal stuff until after 9 a.m. weekday mornings. Thank you very much. Okay. Or you'll be blocked so you can't text me anymore. Oh, my goodness. All right. So the arrest of Donald Trump. This is something that is in the works. And, President Trump thinks he's going to be arrested. He posted it out on Truth Social. And President Trump, when they arrest him, the United States at that moment in time officially becomes a banana republic. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. We've got a lot of presidents that are criminals. Okay? Really, we do. Joe Biden, right? His financial crimes. There's other. I mean, he's just, he's got a long rap sheet. Bill Clinton paid off Paula Jones over $800,000 when he was in office. He was being accused of rape, physical assault, and other things. Remember all that? Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones, Juanita Broderick, and others. George W. Bush is a war criminal who knowingly lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and destroyed the lives of millions of people. He's a war criminal. In fact, he's probably the biggest war criminal of the 21st century thus far because of what he did, what he lied about. Where are the charges for these guys? Here you've got a guy who's never done a crime in his life, unless you consider making America great again a federal offense. And they're going to arrest this president because he's a threat to them? A lot of it has to do with this, and I want to get this out because it's important. A lot of this arrest has to do with Ukraine and Russia. Mark Levin made me physically ill from his program last night. I watched it early this morning, not last night, by the way. I should have put it on because usually Mark Levin can put you to sleep. I'm glad I didn't watch it last night because it ticked me off. He did this entire rant defending U.S. involvement in Ukraine. And you may have seen this. He began talking about how the French helped us in the American Revolution, how we would not have been able to beat the Brits if it were not for France. And that may be true. It may not be true. But so what? So what? I couldn't believe he went on this long history lesson about how France went bankrupt because they supported us in the American Revolution. Well, the only reason the French supported us in the American Revolution is because they wanted to hurt the Brits, okay? The French and the Brits had always been at war together for I don't know how long, and they still hate each other, okay? And he went in this whole thing about how France sacrificed everything and went bankrupt to support America in the American Revolution, and how Ukraine is fighting for life, liberty, and the pursuit of Levin, whatever the name of his show is. That's a bunch of nonsense. Zelensky has outlawed churches. He has outlawed political opposition, et cetera, et cetera. That's not freedom. That's not democracy. I don't know what he's talking about. And President Trump will stop this. Listen, we have been in a constant state of military conflict during all of our lives, right? The Cold War was a long cash cow for the donors in the military-industrial complex. Then we had 20 years of the war on terror. That's over. Now they're starting another one, Cold War II, I call it. And listening to Mark Levin promote this war, see, that's the never-Trumper coming out of him. That's the never-Trumperism. That's right. Came out of the claws a little bit. Didn't mean to, but we caught you, Levin. That's right. I said it. Yeah, the great one. I'm great. Yeah. Go to war now. Well, is he going? I don't think so. He'll be at his estate or wherever with Hannity. But here's the thing. President Trump has pledged to stop that war. They don't want it stopped. That's their primary focus because they're going to make tons of money. Now, call us on hold. Stand by. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back. Oh, my goodness. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. And everyone, there's over 1,000 of you in the live stream right now. Only a few of you have liked the video. Please like the video. That will share this video and my other videos to people that have not yet found this channel. If you're new, subscribe. This is the most pro Donald Trump place you will find on YouTube. But no, I really, I know a lot of people like Miranda Devine has a big article today. And I didn't read the article. I just read the headline. And she thinks that this arrest of Trump is a cover up for Joe's China crimes. It may have that effect, but that's not the purpose. I think they've done every possible scenario, and they don't have an internal poll, which are truly scientific polls showing Trump not way ahead. They thought with Governor DeSantis that MAGA people would say, "Oh, DeSantis, he's young. He did such a great job in Florida. Well, we're going to jump ship," and it didn't happen. He's got double-digit leads over DeSantis. I mean, they've tried everything. So this is a desperate effort for them to stop him from running, is what they think. That's what this is about. It's not a distraction for Biden's crimes.
Traffic is service of Palm Beach Kennel Club. Plans for restaurant, extravagant Easter buffet, and on-track.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome Thailand. Yeah. I mean, this is insane. Insane. First off, tell me yes or no. Do you believe Donald Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels? I don't believe he did. I never believed it. But what is she accusing him of? She's accusing him of consensual sex. What the heck is that all about? Since when does someone get jammed up for consensual sex? I don't think he did it, but even if he did, right? And this payoff, she was blackmailing him. In fact, even had to repay his legal fees. She was blackmailing him. Have you ever heard of someone being blackmailed where the victim gets charged with a crime? Isn't the person that's doing the blackmailing the one that gets in trouble? I don't understand that. It makes no sense. Yeah, extortion. The extortionist is the criminal, not the victim. I've never heard of someone paying like, for example, in a kidnapping case, and there's a ransom, and the family pays the ransom. Do you arrest and charge the family who paid the ransom? Of course not. This is crazy town. Complete crazy town. He did nothing with Stormy Daniels. I mean, isn't the extortionist who typically gets in legal trouble? I don't know what possessed this person to text me like really upsetting news as I'm going on the air. It's not a troll because it's somebody that has my cell phone number, so it's just crazy. Well, they're gonna if it's a campaign finance thing, they're gonna say they're gonna have another crime connected to it. The public disgust at this may be enough to get them not to arrest him. Someone who wants my attention. I think it's more like somebody who wasn't thinking. Too many people have my phone number. I'll get to that in a bit. I'm going to take some people have been holding for quite a while, so I'm going to take these calls, and then I'll get into that. Of course, we love President Trump. Well, a lot of people like, oh, the statute of limitations, the Constitution, the law. These people don't care about any of that. They just want that mugshot. If the case gets tossed because of statute of limitations, even if the arraignment judge tosses it out, they'll still have the mugshot. That's all they want is the mugshot. So they don't care about these other things. These are outlaws. That's all they want. Yeah, but they'll still have the mugshot. That's all they want. They want Trump's mugshot, and then he'll get fingerprinted too and perp walked. And when they let him out of the jail, they'll let him out the front door probably. It'll be all over the news. That's all they want. If it gets tossed, it gets tossed. Bragg doesn't care. He's just cemented his place in history in this liberal town of New York. And these Trump haters will take care of him. He's got nothing to worry about. No, they'd go with him. It's actually not by law. Presidents don't have to have Secret Service protection. It's something that's offered to them. Richard Nixon refused his protection, did private security. Here we go. All right, we're back. It is Monday. My name is Brian Craig, and we're talking about the arrest of Donald Trump. Let me take some calls, and then I'll get into some more details of what's happening here. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Yes, this is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi, I just listened to your part about Mark Levine. If France hated us so bad, how come they gave us the Statue of Liberty?
No, they didn't hate us. France didn't hate us. They were with us for a while. They were with us. No, they hated the British. They hated the British. Not us. France and the Brits hate each other. They still hate each other. The French don't hate us.
Well, I guess I didn't word it correctly.
Yeah.
They gave us the Statue of Liberty.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Right, but he forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate the call. No, Mark Levin didn't forget. He's just a warmonger. Mark Levin's not going off to war. Is anyone in his family in the service? I love these guys that send other people's kids. Oh, we got to go to war. What's this we stuff? What are you doing? Yakking? Give me a break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Everything the Democrats do usually is a distraction from what they're doing. And, it's not looking good for them. And I feel they back themselves in a corner again because they're damned if they do arrest them and they damned if they don't. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
People are wanting, we want to see Trump in cuffs. But it's going to piss off so many Americans. I think it's going to backfire on them if they do. And they back themselves into a corner, and they're just a bunch of idiots now.
Well, it's a desperate move. There's no doubt about that. But, Bragg in New York took, if I remember correctly, took $1 million from George Soros. So, I wonder, is this happening at the direct order of George Soros? Has George Soros ordered Bragg to arrest Trump?
I don't, but I read yesterday that Governor DeSantis could stop them from coming into Florida and arresting him. Does he have?
That's not exactly true. Ron, if they charge President Trump in New York, okay, and issue an arrest warrant, they have to move to extradite from Florida to New York. And what DeSantis can do, and this is true of any governor, by the way, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't follow such things. I've not seen this happen before, but what I learned over the weekend from legal experts is that what DeSantis can do is before extradition, call for an investigation to determine whether the charges have merit and extradition should be made. Now, I don't know. Yeah.
Would he do it?
If he did not, right now it's been total silence from Ron DeSantis. He hasn't commented on this at all. But if Ron DeSantis does, if they issue an arrest warrant for Donald Trump in New York City, and Ron DeSantis doesn't step up, I would say his political career is over. He would not be able to get elected as dog catcher. It would be over at that point.
Doesn't matter if it's state charges or federal. State charges, he could do that and deny him, right?
I don't know. Well, federal charges are federal charges. But these are state charges. He would have to be federal charges. They could just do it here because we have federal courthouses all over Florida too. But no, state charges would require extradition to New York. And yeah,
DeSantis has the right to see the evidence to determine whether or not he will accept that.
I don't know about that. He can call for an investigation into the charges, but I don't know if he can offer safe haven to someone at that point. I don't know about that.
Liberals do it all the time with illegal aliens.
But we're not liberals. See, the laws don't apply to the liberals, okay? They only apply to Republicans. No, so, yeah.
But DeSantis better do his due process and do what's right.
Now, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys something, and I'm gonna be saying this a lot today and throughout the week. And some people are gonna get upset with me about this. Okay, those that get upset with me about this probably are fake MAGA. Do not, under any circumstances, go to a protest. Do not, under any circumstances, go to a demonstration. Also, now this is something I never thought I'd say, but I'm going to say it. I understand President Trump has a rally this weekend in Texas. I've been told that. I haven't confirmed. Do not go to a Trump rally. In fact, President Trump should cancel his rally. And the reason that is that's what they want. And you never know when there's going to be a Ray Epps type in the crowd getting people jazzed up. Do not go to any protests. Do not go to any demonstrations. Do not go to any rallies, even a Trump rally. This is not the time for that. And I don't care if people are going to be ticked off at me about that and give me grief. They are probably fake MAGA, okay, who will out themselves. But I'm going to be saying that a lot this week. And I'm not alone. Marjorie Taylor Greene is with me on that, by the way.
And I agree with everything but the rally, because if they don't arrest him, I think that Trump should have his rally.
No. Just because they may, even if, no. Just because they don't arrest him tomorrow doesn't mean they're never going to arrest him. No. And I'm not concerned about the arrest. I'm concerned about the infiltrators, the fake MAGA, the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa showing up in MAGA gear. I've been at events where I've seen fake MAGA people try to get people worked up. I saw it happen on more than one occasion. I saw Black Lives Matter show up and try to get something started at a Trump event. I've seen leftists do this on more than one occasion. No, President Trump should not have his rally in Texas this weekend. I'm sorry, he should not have his rally in Texas.
I do have one thing to say about that. Isn't it sad in America where we gotta worry about having a lawful rally for the greatest president because of...
Well, listen, just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean you should do it. And and that's the way it is. And this is what they want. They want rallies, they want protests, they want demonstrations. I do not do any of those things. And if that rally should be canceled, it could be a very big setup. They did a setup at more than one Trump rally in different ways. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The rally this weekend is asking for trouble. It should be canceled.
I've got one thing quick to say is Freedom Soup made a good point. There's no way we should not go to the rally because that's what they want. But if we do,
No, do not go to it. No, do not go to a rally. Not now. Down the road, but not now. Certainly not this week. You should not go to a rally. No.
to have
This right now, things are hot right now. Right? People's tempers are flaring, people are frustrated. This is a time to be cool. Be cool. And yeah, that's right. And you go to these, you go to a rally. It's it's not difficult for one of these instigators to instigate. People get heated, they get pissed. Okay, and you do not want to go to a Trump rally. And I don't care if people tell me I'm wrong. It's America. You can do what you want. No, just because you can do something doesn't mean it's smart. Right? There's a lot of things that you can do rightfully, but is it smart?
which we know he will eventually have one, is going to have the best security ever because I believe that.
All right, I don't. Okay, we don't need to talk about that stuff. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll be right back in a moment with your calls at 1-888 GO Kane 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back right after this.
The cold, hard.
No, Jeff's calls are always good. Jeff's calls are always good. No, you don't want to feed in to what they're doing.
There was some news about like wanting to go to rallies, why not do a virtual rally?
Exactly.
Make it easier.
Exactly.
Just have anything go crazy.
We'll do a Zoom rally.
Why not?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not talking about forever. I'm talking about this week. We got to let this play out. Be cool. Let this play out, and then bring back the rallies. All right. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. All right. Oh boy. No, Jeff's calls are always very good. See, it's not us I'm worried about. It's the fake MAGA that'll go, you know? The Antifa types in MAGA gear.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast.
Ah, yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, our number one, 888-GO-KANE-1. Those of you on hold, stand by. I want to tell everyone about the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow. I was telling you all on Friday, because of his support for Trump, MyPillow, Mike Lindell's been kicked out of all these big retailers, Walmart, all of them, right? He had to take a loan of $10 million to keep his vow that he made to his employees that he will lay no one off. So when you go to mypillow.com and use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, you're not only helping us by supporting our radio station and helping yourself by getting a great product that's going to give you the best night's sleep you've ever had, whatever you buy at MyPillow, but you're also supporting Mike Lindell and the thousands of people that work for Mike Lindell. Now, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, not just the ones I talk about. I talk about what I consider to be the must-haves, and I have most all of the MyPillow products. And I also talk about what I think are some of the best deals. And I want to tell everyone about the MyPillow 2.0 that I've been sleeping on. It'll be a month on Wednesday. The MyPillow 2.0 is an upgrade from the MyPillow that started it all. And the MyPillow 2.0 has cooling technology in it that keeps your head and your face the perfect temperature all night long. You will never flip your pillow over again at night because you're hot. You won't. And I know some of you already have the MyPillow 2.0. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you flip your pillow over because it's hot, you've woken up. Even if you don't remember it, you have interrupted your REM sleep. And at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE, you can get the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. Buy one, get one free. That's right. Buy one, get one free. That's how I got it. I got one and got the other one free. I sleep on one. My wife has the other. You can also order by phone toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Brian, I want to talk just two quick things. So it occurred to me yesterday, like, with all of this going on, I can't even imagine what it's like to be Barron Trump. Like, this kid has just really been put through the ringer. Like, I couldn't imagine.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Could you imagine what it must be like for him? Oh, yeah. It's awful. Now, I want to address something that I just saw someone say about me in the YouTube live chat, which I do not normally do on the air. Okay. Someone said, JP, he said, I can't believe Brian is going against what Donald Trump told us to do. Did Donald Trump say to go to a protest? There's all kinds of protests. Okay. Tweeting is a protest. Talking like we're doing now is a protest. I didn't see Donald Trump tell people to go out and demonstrate and walk here and walk there and go everywhere. I was at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday, and I did a live stream on YouTube for Mar-a-Lago. Some of you may have seen it. I didn't show everything at Mar-a-Lago because I could not, but I'll tell you what, it's a much more serious place than it was last time I was there. Okay. And I was run off by in the live stream. A Secret Service guy ran me off in an area where I've been at many times. A police officer. I was in a public area where people go a block away from Mar-a-Lago. The local police ran us off out of there. Things are more intense right now. Okay, President Trump said protest, but protest is in many, many forms. You can protest posting on True Social. That's a protest. You can protest making a Facebook video or a YouTube video. He was vague about that. So no, I'm not going against anything Trump said. I'm not. Yeah, please. Anyway, Andre, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do. This is a time to be cool and rational and thoughtful. And I don't need to tell you why. If you pretend not to know why, you're either stupid or you're fake MAGA.
Well, I'm I'm curious to see, and this is how you're really going to know what's going down. I'm curious to see the reactions by the Republican Party, and people should definitely be on the phone to those Republican representatives, and they better step up. They better step up.
Well, I'll tell you listen. Enough is enough of this. And if an indictment comes out of that grand jury, Kevin McCarthy should shut down the federal government. Because I mean, and that's, I'm sorry, this is the United States of America. This is not Guatemala. Okay, this is not Honduras. This is not the narco government of Mexico. This is the United States. We're supposed to be the leader of the free world. And how free are we if we all of a sudden there's people that we don't like, that they don't like, that are running for office, and they arrest them as a way to try to stop them from winning? This is crazy. That's not America. And let me tell you, some of you will remember when everyone was talking about locking up Hillary. I said, don't do it. And people got pissed at me. I said, if you lock up Hillary Clinton, that's going to become the new normal. They'll lock up Melania. Okay, they'll lock up. That's a slippery slope. And I know, well, they're no different than we are. No, they are different. Okay, the politicians, the presidents, and the first families are different, because half the country love them, half the country hate them. And when you do things like that, you upset too many people, and it's not a smart move. So no, even Biden shouldn't get. I think the Clintons are living in prison. They're being forced to live together in the same house in Chappaqua. You think they're happy? You think Bill likes living with her?
Right. And there's different prisons for everybody, but I'm going to be praying for Barron, because I can imagine.
Yeah.
Stay strong, stay focused, everybody. Stay cool. Don't.
That's right. That's right. Take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Wellington.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I was just calling in about Trump being arrested. I think that it would be a bad political move on the Democratic part, because if they did do that, it would open up the people's eyes that are sleeping still, sort of, and the normal people in the world. And a lot of these normal younger people that have the chance to vote, that are going to be 18 to 25 now, they think it's cool to be in handcuffs, a lot of these liberal types. So for them, it would be a plus for them to be persecuted in open public. It would really shock the system.
But you know what, though? Alvin Bragg is not a free man. He's under the he's an employee of George Soros, right? And Bragg is one of many George Soros district attorneys around the country that are there to allow crimes to take place. So, these are not people that are thinking in a rational way. These are anarchists. George Soros is an anarchist.
As well as a really, really pathetic reason. It wouldn't even have consistency with any of the January 6th rhetoric. It wouldn't have any consistency with any of the Russian rhetoric. It wouldn't have any consistency with everything that they've pushed for as much as long as they have. It's going to be some Michael Avenatti garbage.
Yeah.
Even he came out. I don't know if you saw that, but he even came out and said that the case is very weak against Trump, and that they'd be foolish to arrest him.
Yeah, well, he's on backup to testify. There's going to be a rebuttal witness today, which I'm going to get into after the top of the hour. But he's on the docket. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much from Wellington. Call is on hold. Stand by. I give an example of why I say don't go to anything. On Inauguration Day, on Biden's Inauguration Day, some of you remember, I went to Mar-a-Lago. I was one of the last people to see President Trump while he was president in his first term. I saw President Trump the last 15 minutes of his first term. And when it was over, there were two happenings that day. I'll tell you about the second one first. When the inauguration was over, I went over to the Palm Beach airport because Air Force One was there, because President Trump flew home on Air Force One on Inauguration Day. And I was out there, and there were a lot of MAGA people at the airport. We were waiting to watch Air Force One leave Palm Beach without President Trump, and we saw it, and it was sad. But when Air Force One was there, and I, by the way, was live streaming on YouTube at the time, and some of you may have seen this. I know it's been a couple years, but I'll tell you. So there's a group, I don't know, maybe 20 or so MAGA people, and where Air Force One would park is pretty much where Trump Force One is today. There was this area, a little tiny field on the edge of a canal. It was acted as a moat where you were allowed to stand and watch Air Force One. So we're out there. I don't know any of these people. I'm kind of standing by myself, but none of us really knew each other. About 20 or so MAGA people. What happens? This totally tricked out Black Lives Matter pickup truck came up. I mean, this was a dual wheel, brand new pickup truck, dual wheelies, dual wheels, and decked out with every accessory that you could imagine on the truck. And it was completely painted with Black Lives Matter stuff in it. And it had in the bed of the truck a bunch of Black Lives Matter flags in it and blank Trump flags in it. And it pulled up into that field where we were all standing, where Air Force One was blasting music, and they just sat there. And what were they doing? They were trying to start trouble. And because this was post January 6th, everybody knew what they were all about and ignored them, and they drove off. Before that, I was over at the Publix by Mar-a-Lago before President Trump drove by. There was a big crowd there. Television crews were there. Right Side Broadcasting was there, and a friend of mine from Right Side was there. We were talking. And this was, I don't know, about an hour before President Trump came home, and there's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of MAGA people there, national media there, and we're waiting to watch Air Force One fly overhead. All of a sudden, 3 or 4 liberals go on the other side of the street with Biden-Harris signs. Like 3 or 4 idiots standing over there. A guy comes into the crowd. I'll tell you, you know what? I looked at the time. I don't have time to tell you. I'll tell you after the break. We'll be right back. That was not meant to be a tease for the top of the hour, but it's the top of the hour. I got a break. But this is why you don't go to these events. I'm sorry, I've seen these guys in action, so I'm going to finish that story, and then I'm going to go to the phones. All right, make sure you guys like the video, and if you're new to my channel, subscribe, guys. I am just 505 subs away from 60,000. There are over 1,200 people in the live stream right now, over 1,200. I know you're not all subscribed, okay? So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If I could hit that 60K today, that would be like a beautiful gift. It would make up for that person that sent me this bad news as I was about to go on the air. So subscribe. We're 502 subs away from 60K. So guys, subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated.
Traffic service of Palm Beach Kennel Club. Make plans for the Paddock Restaurant extravagant Easter buffet and on-track family fun festival Sunday, April 9th. Don't miss Chris McDonald's Memories of Elvis dinner show.
All right. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh yeah. This. I'm going to finish that story I was just telling, and then you guys will understand. You know, you all haven't been to these things like I have and seen these people at work and see what it is they do. I'm not saying don't go to an event because of us. We're cool, but they do things to cause trouble, then we get blamed for it. So we got to let this play out and cool off a little bit. And I'll finish up with this story that I was telling, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to get into to the surprise witness. Don't worry. There's so much news today. Oh man. Thanks all of you who have been subscribing here. That is awesome and greatly appreciated. So we are now 496 subs away from 60,000. So there's 1,300 in the live stream right now. So I know you're not all sub. Go ahead and sub. Give me that 60K. I'll be very grateful. Oh my goodness. I tell you, what a day. All right, let me pull up the info on the surprise witness. But I got to finish this story first because it's very important. Here. Listen, I got a large platform here. I reach a lot of people on the radio and everything. I got a responsibility about all of this. And I'm not gonna play into the hands of these evil people. Just not gonna happen. Just not gonna let it happen. If Ron DeSantis stands by and would allow this to happen, if they charge Trump, he'd be done. Be done. I think he should speak out this morning. I think he should speak out early this morning and say that he's putting together a team. Who should lead the team? I just forgot her name. What's the name of our former attorney general in Florida? She's worked for Trump, so maybe she can't do it. We had her on the show in studio too, and I just forgot her name. But Ron DeSantis should come out today and announce that he is going to put together a team. Pam Bondi. Yeah, Pam Bondi worked for Trump as an attorney, so she may not be able to lead the team. I don't know who could lead the team, but he's going to put together a team and have them on standby. And if there is an indictment out of New York, he is going to immediately challenge it and have it investigated by his team. That's what I think. That's what he should come out today and announce that. He can't sit back. Matt Gaetz would be a great person. He's a Florida congressman. He's a Florida member of the House of Representatives up there. He would be perfect to lead it. Pam Bondi worked as a personal attorney for Trump, so I don't think she could lead the team. Jenna Ellis worked for Trump. She couldn't lead it either. It would have to be someone that hadn't worked for him. Matt Gaetz, I think, would be spectacular. Here we go. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I want to finish up this story that I started before the top because this is important. And I'm telling people, do not go to any protest, do not go to demonstrations, do not go to a rally. This is what they do. So just let me rewind a little bit because it's very important. I've seen these people in action. So I'm at the Publix down the street from Mar-a-Lago. It's Inauguration Day. And I'm there with a whole bunch of people. Right Side Broadcasting's there, national media's there, and probably a few thousand MAGA people. And that's a great spot because when Air Force One with President Trump flies in, it flies right overhead. And you can see it. It flies right over the Publix parking lot over there by Mar-a-Lago. It's the Publix where Melania shops with Barron. I'm sure it's right down the street. So anyway, we're all there. We're waiting for Trump. This guy out of nowhere comes into the crowd. This guy's got more MAGA gear on than anyone. He's got a MAGA hat on. He's got a MAGA shirt on. He's got MAGA shorts on. His socks even are MAGA. And there's these 3-4 people across the street with Biden-Harris signs. This is Biden's inauguration day. Trump is still president. We're waiting for him to come by. And the guy starts running. Let's go over there and run those people off, those liberals. We got to run them. And everyone looked at him and started. It was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but in a different way. Everyone pointed at him and yelled, "Get out of here, Fed! Get out of here. We're not about to." And the guy left. I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about me. We're cool. But they send people in. You know this at these events. And these are when you're dealing with politics, people get heated. It's like these school board meetings. So right now, until we get through this event, it's time to protest in different ways. Okay, tweet, talk about it. Don't go to events. They are all setups. Okay. And that's the way it is. And I've seen other things happen. I'm not going to, I don't need to give you 20 examples. And I don't want to open the phones up to everyone giving me their examples. The 2 I gave you are textbook. And you know more because you see them on TV all the time. You know better. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Yes, you're right. No one need to go out there and form a group and protest. You could protest by Zoom. You can do it on the radio, like your show. You know, Steve Bannon have his show. Everybody, you know, just be smart about this because they all setting these FBI agents as a secret agent to go out at night. Go out and and things get heated when you out here and somebody attacking you. You don't know where it's coming from, and you're gonna strike back.
Exactly. Be cool, and this is what they want. This is what they want. Don't do it. Do not go. And I'll tell you, when I went to Mar-a-Lago on Saturday, my plan was to go back to Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday and live stream there all day on YouTube because Trump said that's the day. And after what I saw there on Saturday, I'm not going back to Mar-a-Lago. And by the way, no one else should either. I know there's a couple of areas where MAGA people like to go around Mar-a-Lago. Do not go this week. Do not go. And by the way, don't talk to. If you do, don't talk to reporters. There were these 3 or 4 idiot ladies in MAGA gear. Okay, up outside Mar-a-Lago. I pull up, and what do I see? Them doing interviews with the fake media, right? They're talking to the fake news, and then I saw a story in the national media where they quote Trump supporters won't stand for the. You got 4 stupid ladies whose skin is yellow because they smoke so much. They smoke like a carton of cigarettes while they're out there, and they're representing MAGA. Don't do interviews with the. Do you see me when I'm there doing interviews? Very rarely. I only do interviews with people I know. I did do an interview with the Daily Wire one time when I was up there not too long ago because I knew the guy that was doing the interview. They come up to. They're not your friend. I was so ticked at these idiot ladies, and I did them a favor. A Chevy Suburban drove by, and they thought President Trump was in it, and they were so excited that they saw President Trump. It was not President Trump, okay? but I didn't tell them that because I didn't want to. They thought they saw President Trump. They were so excited, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to burst their bubble. And then I get home and I'm online and I see them quoted. And I'm like, I wish I would have burst their bubble. These idiot ladies do not do interviews with them. Oh my goodness.
I was also looking to it at True Social when he posted it about the arrest, and he said protest, but he didn't say go out and protest in the street.
I didn't run from the mall cop.
And people like Fox News and others And Neil Cavuto, oh, he got on my nerve because he said, oh, so he's doing it again. He's telling the people go out there and protest.
Exactly.
He said, you know, I said, so because you said go out and protest, that means do violence?
You know, Martin Luther King told people to protest peaceful. And the way you peacefully protest is we're talking right here, you're tweeting, you know, a lot of people are there's one thing that I saw someone in the live stream chat suggest, which I think is a good one. Everyone turn off their television news on Tuesday. You know, don't watch it and protest by not giving them the ratings that day, things like that. Yeah. Yeah, Trump was very vague when he said protest, and I think President Trump would agree with what I'm saying right now. I know Marjorie Taylor Greene agrees with me, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is closer to Trump than anybody else that holds elected office right now. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene agrees with what I'm saying, I would assume that the president does as well.
Yeah, of course. But she tweeted out twice. I think it was yesterday on True Social because you know what? It took me almost 6 months to get True Social. I don't know what was going on with my phone, but for some reason I couldn't even get it. And then finally, I had got a notice. I guess because I got Android and Google was acting crazy. They didn't want, you know, I guess they didn't want me to have it.
Yeah.
I finally got on there.
Well, you got it now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure follow me on True Social. Okay. Real Brian Craig on True Social. All right. Take care. All right. We'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Oh my goodness.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.9 and 106.9.
Oh my goodness.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor. Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station West LA.
Dick Morris agrees with me, and Dick Morris is Trump's top advisor. So we've got the two people that talk to President Trump every day about these things. Dick Morris and Marjorie Taylor Greene are saying what I'm saying. What does that tell you? That's what Trump thinks. Even though he may not say it publicly, he agrees. Dick Morris works for Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene works for Trump.
And they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel.
Sandra, you don't know what the freak you're talking about. Don't know what the freak you're talking about. How well did the cops stop things on January 6th from the agitators? Come on. No, Neil Cavuto is a jerk.
This trip offers a unique and intimate experience. You'll enjoy the best of Portugal, from the stunning city of Lisbon to the world-renowned port wine region of Porto. This luxury riverboat provides exceptional service.
I was just about to talk about the river cruise, and then the spot ran. Well, I'll tell everyone about Elena Castro.
Buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire.
I'm not angry, but don't be stupid, Sandra.
Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Mom, can I have some ice cream? I've got a better idea. Who wants to help me make something
Bert's
fun and healthy?
mustache. How many accounts do you have? Who the freak are you? I mean, you must have 20 freaking accounts. Troll.
Then register at healthiestwayfl.com and learn more about all the small steps that you can take on the way to living healthy. This message is sponsored by the Ounce Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
It sure is. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We're talking about the arrest of Donald Trump that President Trump says is going to happen. Florida real estate is hot. Homes are selling for prices that are just out of this world, insanely high, right? Oh, man. When you sell your home, you want to get top dollar. What you really want to get is asking price or above, right? And, inventory is still light in Florida. It really is. It's not as many people are selling as you think. And you want to get as much money as you can. This is like winning the lottery, selling your house these days, isn't it? Oh, yeah. And that's where Elena Castro comes in. Elena Castro was introduced to us by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. So she's a good, honest real estate agent. And no matter where your home is located, from Miami through Broward, the Palm Beaches, and the Treasure Coast, Elena Castro can help you. You list your house with Elena Castro. She has a way to get you multiple offers, which is what you want, right? If people are competing for your house, that's how you get that asking price or even above. Now, listen, if you're looking to buy or even rent, she can help you and she'll take good care of you and get you a good deal there too. But if you're looking to sell, her goal is to get you top dollar as much as possible. She walks Steve and I through the way she does it. She'll tell you when you call her. Here's her number. This number rings directly to Elena Castro's cell phone, 954-478-5015. 954-478-5015. That's 954-478-5015. All right, let's go back to our phones, which are very, very busy today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, wow. Hey, it's Lisa in Texas.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, listen, when I lived near enough to Waco that I could get there, but actually, luckily, I have to work. But it's the closest it would ever be to me. But I know what you're saying. When they had those riots going on during the George Floyd stuff, and down here in downtown Austin, there were buses.
No, you're just not being smart, Sandra.
There are companies
you're just being stupid.
That you can buy protesters, believe it or not, people to come and they bust them in.
Yeah, remember they were advertising. They were advertising on Craigslist.
Oh yeah, and there's actually you can Google companies. You can search them out. I've done it because I wanted to see if it was true. And yes, there are professional rioters or protesters, whatever, and it's
like I'll tell you, some of you, if you follow me on YouTube, I don't know if you saw this. Did any of you see the video? I was two guys tried to rob me on Saturday. Any of you got? Did you? And yeah, did you see my video on that? Okay, let me tell you what happened. I made a YouTube short about this after it happened. I took my MAGA scooter to Mar-a-Lago, and on my way home, the MAGA scooter broke down on an isolated road. And two guys came up and tried to rob me of my scooter. And they were, they were really, they were like professionals. This was not their first rodeo. And of course, I'm by myself. I'm in a secluded area. I didn't even know where I was exactly. And they pulled up in this junky van about 20 feet. I took the MAGA scooter. I have a 150cc scooter, and and it's a very nice scooter. If you see my scooter, and it's a fancy, and the reason I have such a nice fancy scooter is because I want, when I'm on the road, everyone to see it, because it makes me safer on the road. I don't have it because I don't have it looking that way because I want to be flashy and look fancy. I just want people to be able to see me on the road, and it's a very nice scooter. So anyway, I have the scooter. So they pull up in this van about 20 feet in front of me, and they both jump out speaking Spanish, and they were surrounding me. The one guy that was acting like, "Do you need help? Do you need help?" And then and it was and the other guy, he was on my left. The other guy was coming around on my right, trying to get behind me. And I knew what they were doing. They were trying to, this was Saturday afternoon. they were gonna rob me. They were gonna take my scooter, and I don't know if they were gonna strong arm rob me and clock me in the head. I don't know if they were gonna stab me with a screwdriver or a knife. And I was on the phone when I saw them pull up and jump out with the tow truck company, and I was on hold. So I hung up and I called my wife, because if you call 911, they don't know where you are on the cell phone, right? And I didn't know exactly where I was, but my wife and I have a locator on our text. So I called my wife. I said, I'm about to be robbed. If something happens, call 911. You can see where I am on the text, okay? And which is kind of a weird thing to do, but I was quick thinking. I was unarmed. All I had were my keys. So I took my key and put it in my fist. So if they jumped me, one of them was going to lose an eye. So anyway, the reason I tell this story is because some people told me, some of my friends said, well, you should, if you were packing, you could have pulled your gun and shot him. And I said, well, I wasn't. And they said, did you have your Glock with you? And I said, no. And I said, I got two guys speaking Spanish. They're Mexican, Guatemalan or something. If I'm wearing my MAGA hat, if I shot two guys that are Mexican wearing my MAGA hat, what's going to happen to me? I'm better off taking my chances. I'm better off taking my chances with them with my car key in the fist. Okay. And the guy couldn't get behind me, and I was being a little, they saw I wasn't cooperating and was going to fight back, and they jumped in the van and got out of there. Now I would have the right to stay, they didn't brandish a weapon. So I don't know, but just because you have a right, I don't carry my gun around. I don't carry my gun around because the gun escalates things. Okay. In most instances, I was a little more vulnerable than normal, but just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean you should do it. And that goes to going to a rally in Texas this weekend. Of course you have a right to do it. But is it smart right now?
And, back when they were advertising for January 6th before it happened, my husband was, he's like, gosh, I wish I could go. And I told him, I don't think it's a good idea to go. I think that they've got something planned. And sure enough, they sure did.
I told people not to go to the Trump rally in D.C., okay, on January 6th. And now the reason I told people that for a week or two on the air, and I told people, my thought was, well, Antifa and BLM that have been burning America down all summer are going to be there starting fights. I had no idea what it would turn, but I was right? Don't go. Don't go.
Even though they planned a whole different scheme, but they were still there, and we know that there were paid agitators there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same about just being careful. Who wants to go to a gulag? Who wants to be arrested?
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. And you go to a protest, a demonstration, or a rally, that MAGA guy you're talking to next to you, that could be Ray Epps' brother. You know what I mean? Another Ray Epps. You never know. I got a break. But anyway, I'm sorry, guys. This is just an important day, and I feel I have a responsibility to share these things. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. If you miss a portion of the program, shame on you, people. But every one of our programs is uploaded to our radio station website each day about an hour after we sign off the air. TrueOldiesFLA.com. TrueOldiesFLA.com. And when you go to TrueOldiesFLA.com, not only is this show uploaded as a podcast at TrueOldiesFLA.com every day about an hour after we go off the air, they're archived up there forever. So maybe you want to hear your call. Maybe you want to download the show. Or maybe you missed a part of the show. TrueOldiesFLA.com. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve J Show with Brian Gregg.
Did you guys see my video after it happened? Oh my gosh. See, look at the way the trolls are talking in the chat, right? That's why I don't go to these things. What is Wookie's in the hospital for? I'm a little unclear on what his exact ailment is. It didn't get that far. I'm not going to just hand over my stuff. You know, I mean, it didn't get that far. They were running an angle to try to take it. You know, they weren't holding me up quite yet. They were going to jump me or something. What's DVT? I'm not sure what DVT is. Deep vein thrombosis. Well, I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't sound good. It sounds painful. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, let's hope he does better. If you are new, subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. This is the most pro Donald Trump channel you'll find anywhere. And we're just 490 subs away from 60,000. So there's over 1,400 in the live stream right now. Over 1,400. So subscribe. If you're new here, you'll love my content. And there's enough people in the live stream right now that are not subscribed. I know it, to get me to the 60,000 sub mark. So that would be awesome. Okay, now I'm going to get into the witness they're bringing into the grand jury today when we come back. No, that's not true. My wife disagrees with me on a lot of things. Doesn't make her a troll. No Harleys for me. The scooter's enough. That's all the power I need. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind having a moped right around the neighborhood. Wouldn't go far on it. I haven't seen a moped on the road in years. I will be back soon, and I'm going to take some more calls. I'm going to get into the surprise witness first that they're bringing in today, and then I'll get back to the phones. Yeah, mopeds used to be all over the place. I haven't seen one in years. I've seen more Pintos than I've seen mopeds.
Business owner, association, and your roof is old and compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting is voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable. Will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of auto repairs, so you don't necessarily need.
No, my scooter, I would not take it on the freeway. It's only a 150cc scooter. It doesn't go fast enough for the freeway. I don't need to be on the freeway on something like that.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. To the Steve Kane Show.
All right, welcome back, one and all. And the phones have been very busy today. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GIL-KANE-1. I think Steve is with us. Steve, you with us? That would be a no. Okay, all right. I don't have that connection, Mike. So I kind of can't get that connection up on the board. All right, let me take a call, and then we'll see if we got Steve. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
You know, there's a line from a movie that describes the Democrats and never Trumpers to a T, and it's this. It's the heart wants what the heart wants, even though it might be bad for it.
It says
deep down in their hearts, these people have wanted to get Trump for so long, and everything they've tried has failed, right?
That's right. See, they're not going to be successful in convicting him. I mean, in the long run, it would get tossed. Even if they got a conviction with a New York jury, it'd get tossed out on appeal down the road. All they want is the mugshot. That's what they want, that mugshot. After that, that's all they need.
And you're right. You're right. Yesterday or 2 days ago, when you said that the perp walk has ceased to be. The last time the perp walk was a big thing was O.J. Simpson.
O.J. didn't perp walk. No, they remember he fled. He was on the run with AC, and they arrested him at home and drove him in. That wasn't a perp walk. No. We haven't had a perp walk since like the days of John Gotti, but they'll bring it back for Trump. Hey, listen, Mike, thanks for the call. All right, I think we have Steve. You with us? Yeah, you are now. Yes, we got you now. Okay, you were talking to yourself for a minute. All right, Steve's with us. Oh, well, it depends. Okay, so there is going to be a surprise witness in the grand jury today that is leaked out. So I'm going to share this with you. Now, this is a witness. We don't know exactly what the grand jury is being asked to charge Trump with. It's got something to do with the Stormy Daniels extortion racket that Michael Cohen was running with her against Trump. So there's a witness coming in today in the grand jury, this Bragg grand jury in New York, that is being brought in by Trump's people. Okay. And this is very unusual to hear such things because grand juries are typically secret. So, and this is a name we've heard, and I'm going to share with you, this story is being reported in many places, but NBC News is where I'm reading this from. And I've been following this Trump arrest story, since it's been a thing the last few days. And NBC News, whoever's doing the leaking, has been leaking first to NBC News. And it probably has something to do with NBC News is based in New York City. So they've got a lot of contacts in the district attorney's office in New York. Okay, so this is from NBC. I think in this instance, NBC is reliable about what's happening. Okay, attorney Robert Bob Costello, once a legal advisor to Michael Cohen, has told NBC News that he will testify today before the New York grand jury considering President Trump's case. Trump's attorneys asked the district attorney in Manhattan for Costello to testify in the case involving the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. during the 2016 presidential campaign, according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation. The fact that Costello will be appearing at the request of Trump's team indicates that he may contradict Cohen, who is Cohen's the key witness in the grand jury. Michael Cohen's been the, he's the big witness. He's so credible, isn't he? Give me a break. Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, pleaded guilty in 2018 to making illegal payments to Stormy Daniels. He testified before the grand jury last week. He's met with prosecutors more than 20 times. Cohen alleged that Trump directed him to pay the money to Stormy Daniels, which I don't see why that's a crime. When you're being blackmailed, when an extortionist is extorting money from you, the extortionist is the criminal, not the victim. But in this case, Costello said Sunday that he never signed a retainer agreement for Michael Cohen. Therefore, he was never his attorney, so his testimony will not violate the confidentiality that an attorney-client privilege. He said Cohen waived the attorney-client privilege in 2019, a move that shocked attorneys who became aware of it. And they have Michael Cohen on standby to bring in as a rebuttal witness after this Trump witness comes in today. I don't think that's going to stop what they're going to do. It's just going to slow down the process a little bit.
The coverage of it as well.
Well, what it'll do, what it'll do is it'll let this George Soros paid district attorney brag. He'll be able to come out and say, look, we were so fair. The Trump team asked us to bring this witness in, Costello, and we did. But we're
do that, but does not necessarily indicate that he will do that necessarily.
Yeah, but they can say, look, we're fair, we're balanced. This is an impartial grand jury. We brought in the Trump witness at their request, but we're still going to indict him and arrest him. But now there's a big thing here, and if Trump had not said over the weekend that they're going to arrest him, we would not even be talking about it, because I wouldn't believe that something so crazy could ever possibly happen. Okay, so I wouldn't even believe. But Trump said it's going to happen, which means that his team has been talking to people, and they're, to arrest Donald Trump is a big to do because he's under Secret Service protection, and there's a lot of hoops that they have to go through to arrest a president. And so they've been in contact. They're making preparations for at least a possible arrest of Donald Trump. But here's something I want to throw out to the listening audience and get your calls on this, because this is where I learned all kinds of stuff about extradition and everything over the weekend. I don't really follow that kind of stuff. No need to, but right now we have to. So President Trump is in Florida, although he plans on leaving over the weekend to go to a rally in Texas, which he should not do. He should not leave Florida until this is settled. He should stay in Florida until this is settled. Okay. But if they get an indictment and Bragg puts out an arrest warrant for Trump, Trump is here in Florida. Ron DeSantis can stop this. It's been reported by many legal experts. This is not my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard legal experts talk about this. And this doesn't go for just DeSantis or Florida. This goes for any governor of any state. If an extradition request for an arrest comes from another state, the governor of the state where the person is at can launch their own investigation into the charges and determine whether or not they're valid charges and extradition is warranted. So Ron DeSantis could step in and at the very least slow down the arrest or even stop it completely. Well, that's the question. Will Ron DeSantis do that? Will Ron DeSantis, right now it's been silence from Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis has not uttered a word about this. But I want to throw this out to the listening audience, and I'm going to give out our number, and I want to hear your response to this at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Do you believe Ron DeSantis will step up and stop an extradition from Florida to New York of Donald Trump? Yes or no? I would tell you, there'll be a lot of people around him like Jeb, okay, that'll try to get him not to, because and what they'll say is, this will be your path if he gets arrested, if he's indicted, this will be your. I think he will step up, because if he does not, he'll not be electable as a Republican ever again. He won't be able to get elected dog catcher if he doesn't at least look into it and go through at least some motions. If he just allows Bragg to arrest Trump and doesn't stop it the way that he's allowed to legally as the governor of Florida, I think he would be done politically forever. And I think Ron DeSantis is smart enough to know that. I cannot imagine he would not get involved. So I throw that out to you guys in the listening audience. Yes or no, will Ron DeSantis step up and stop the extradition of President Trump from Florida to New York? Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. And he's, Ron DeSantis has, as far as I know, has never made a bad career decision in his entire life. I don't see any reason why that would start to happen now. I think he would step up and at least go through the motions of slowing it down, if not stopping it completely. But I'd like to hear what you all think at 1-888-465-2631. Also, we've had a lot of calls today. I haven't heard one Democrat telling us that Trump should be arrested. I was expecting to hear from some Democrats all excited saying that this should happen today, but they're lying low. So if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. We'll take our last break of the hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. You're a Florida homeowner, and you know the real estate is selling for the highest prices ever. With so many listing their house,
Oh, man.
your house to stand out.
No, guys, call in and tell me what you think. Ron DeSantis would not ever get elected to office again if he did not stand up for Trump. There's no way. No way. Even if he didn't want to. It really, this new little bit of information, that's why Trump can't leave Florida, right? Because it puts DeSantis in the position. He goes to Texas, they could come in and get him in Texas. Or Georgia. Ron DeSantis is the heir apparent to the MAGA nomination, right? So if Trump goes out of state and they go to arrest him there, it gets Ron DeSantis off the hook. So Trump should not leave Florida. That's right.
This is Lori Kane. When people go to the dentist, they think of the pain, but the biggest pain is the cost. Not with Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. The dental work is painless, and the prices are painless too. Call today, 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's Monday. Steve Kane is here. Oh, man. So the question on the table, will Ron DeSantis step up as governor and stop the extradition of President Trump to New York? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air.
Yes, hi. This is first time caller, and yes, hi. I'm hoping that Ron DeSantis absolutely stops this from happening. If he does not, it will be a political suicide for him.
Yeah.
And
Well, the question is, oh, you're liberal?
no, I am not.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought I heard you start to say you're liberal. I got all excited. I want to hear liberal. Do you, of course, we want Ron DeSantis to step in and stop extradition to New York, but do you think he will?
You know what, at this point, I don't know what to believe, and I don't know if I can trust Ron DeSantis, because in reality, Trump is a threat to him.
Mm.
He's ahead of involved, and I just don't trust him.
Of course.
I just have a feeling that it's just not going to happen.
If Ron, let me ask you this: if Ron DeSantis did not step up to stop extradition to New York of President Trump, would you vote for Ron DeSantis after that?
Never, never. I would write him off right away. Away.
You hear that, Governor?
He would be done.
Well, yeah.
I want to thank you so much for putting this radio station. Had I known you had this radio station, I just recently started listening to you. And let me tell you, I've been listening to WIOD for a long time, and it's been a suicide driving to work listening to them. So it's a pleasure starting to listen to you. I'm very grateful.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to real radio that's entertaining, that doesn't put you to sleep.
Thank you. I'm a registered nurse. I do dialysis, and I stand with Trump all the way, all the time, no matter what happens. And they failed at everything, and they will fail at this as well. Just has concluded his reelection, will be reelected.
All right. Well, listen, welcome to the program, and thanks for your call.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, I want to tell everyone about the incredible cruise down the Douro River through Portugal's wine country. This is amazing. And, here it is. It is March 20th. Now, if you book on this incredible river cruise through Portugal's wine country by the 31st of March, which is just 11 days away, free airfare round trip to Lisbon is included, as well as high-speed rail transportation from Lisbon to Porto, where your luxurious first-class riverboat awaits. Now, the date for the Douro River cruise is August 23rd through September 2nd. Now, this date is not just an accidental random date that we picked. Okay, this is the date. No. This is the time when the grapes are on all the vines, and they're taking the grapes off the vines and making them into wine. So as the riverboat goes down the Douro River, it travels through these vineyards along the banks that are filled with grapes, which is just a beautiful sight. And of course, stopping along the way for wine and culinary events, you'll be able to take the grapes right off the vine yourself and eat them. This is amazing. Now, this is a wine sampling tour throughout Portugal's wine country, of course. There's incredible food along the way. This is a first-class experience and a bucket list trip that you will remember for the rest of your life. If you're a wine lover, you gotta book on this. It's amazing. Also, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and tips is included. To learn more, you want to get a brochure on the cruise that gives you all of the information. So go to brianportugal.com. When you go to brianportugal.com, on the left side of the screen, you'll see a button that says request a brochure. Click that and request the brochure. It's brianportugal.com for the Douro River cruise through Portugal's wine country. brianportugal.com, request a brochure. All right, good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Name is Ralph.
Hey, Ralph.
Truck driver Ralph. So you made a good point, and that brought up ideas. And this is something that I think strategically, I personally think Trump doesn't want to be held back. I don't think you want.
You think President Trump wants to be arrested?
I think if DeSantis decides to hold him or try to investigate it or try to get it dropped, you're right. Trump can't go anywhere because he can get arrested somewhere else, and DeSantis is done with that. Now, who knows how long it would take before all that gets cleared? And I don't think he wants to stop his rallies. I think Trump, you don't want to be arrested. If he doesn't do his rally, then
No. I'm not talking about canceling rallies forever. I'm just saying this week until this plays out and things cool off, there should be no rallies. No one should go to a no.
Thing is, it seems to have a shelf life of forever.
No. Things are at a boil. No. Things are at a boiling point right now because we got the grand jury. We got this. Bragg said this is the final witness. Okay, the Costello is the final witness, and they have Cohen to do a rebuttal, but that's it. So we're at the end of the beginning of this, and I'm just saying until this plays out, there should be no. And so far as Trump wanting, yeah.
That can involve a lot of multiple choice endings here. Playing out can involve.
Things are too hot right now to go to a protest, or a rally, or anything.
Oh no, I'm not. I understand that right now, but we don't know how long the process will take to get it all out.
We don't have to wait for the whole process. No. I'm not saying wait for the whole process. Then they would just keep it going on forever and nothing would get done. I'm talking about right now, things are heated. That's why no rally. And as so far as Trump getting arrested, that's crazy. Now, why he does not want to get arrested. I've been watching a lot of MSNBC, right? And they're in New York City, and you get to find everything that's going on. Okay? While they let people out of jail with no bail or anything else being asked for who commit violent crimes in New York and all like this all the time, this will not apply to Donald Trump. They're already setting the stage. He could walk out of that jail, out of that courthouse, and call for an insurrection.
Who forced this conflict?
George Soros, who Bragg works for. So Trump is going. They will arrest Trump. They're going to book him. They're going to get a mugshot. They're going to fingerprint him. They'll probably strip search him, and then they're going to take him in front of the arraignment judge. And they are not going to let him go. In fact, what the legal experts on the liberal news are saying at NBC is the fact that he was telling people to protest on True Social is enough to make sure he doesn't go free, so he doesn't organize something. They're going to send him to Rikers Island. They're going to arrest him and send him to Rikers. President Trump doesn't want to go to Rikers.
Now, I think DeSantis should help Donald Trump. Despite any type of feeling, the rule of law should overcome.
But will DeSantis? But will DeSantis do it?
I think so. I think he's waiting for everything to calm down, and I think at the end, when he has to make that decision, he's going to make the right decision because it's just the way.
The question is the right decision. Excuse me, my throat's a little rough today. You talking about the right decision for Trump, or are you talking about the right decision for DeSantis?
I mean, those two are rivals at this point right now, but he's going to help Trump because he's going to understand that this is wrong. And,
I don't think you can count on. I don't think you can count necessarily on anybody to act in anybody's interest except their own. That's the track record on these guys for the most part.
But it wouldn't help. Yeah, but it wouldn't help the Republicans as a whole.
Ron DeSantis. Well, the question is yeah, Ron DeSantis. Trump's in DeSantis's way, right? I mean, we can agree on that to be president. Yeah. So is he going to save? Is he going to save the man and it would stop him getting the nomination? I think if he doesn't get involved, he's not electable anymore, DeSantis. I think out of self-preservation, he would at least go and try to stop extradition. He would not be electable again if he allowed extradition without challenge go through.
Do enough people in Florida know that that's a process?
Well, they will by the time it happens because we're talking about it, and others it'll spread around. People will know that.
Educating the voters.
Yeah. That's why we're talking about this today. The reason I bring this up today about this, and I was doing it all weekend on YouTube. I was even up at Mar-a-Lago doing it on YouTube, is the more, yeah, the more people that know about it, the more likely DeSantis is to step in. DeSantis should come out today and announce he's going to immediately launch an investigation to challenge any request for extradition of Donald Trump.
Now, isn't it possible that the only reason they're doing this is to get a picture of Donald Trump in handcuffs?
Yes, that's all they want.
The whole,
That's all they want.
then a month from now, they're going to drop the case.
Yeah, they don't care about winning the case. They want the mugshot and the perp walk. Yeah. Yeah. And probably what they'll do if they got an indictment and an arrest and a charge, we're in the campaign season now. They're going to try to put it off as long as they can so that this felony is hanging over his head. And what they're going to do is they're going to go to some of the early primary states and try to get the state governments there to keep him off the ballot because he's facing a criminal charge. And even though that doesn't stop you from being president, even having a conviction, they'll find some rhino or Democrat who will keep Trump off the primary ballot. They got a whole. These are desperate people. See what I was talking about. The reason they're doing this, it's not to cover up Biden's crimes. Okay, they have been running every poll you've seen. No matter who he's up against, President Trump has been in the lead by double digits, and they just don't understand it. And they've convinced themselves that if they get a mugshot, the MAGA people will finally drop him.
I don't see that happen.
No.
See that. I don't see that at all. I don't. I mean, AOC, she pretended she was arrested to become a martyr.
That's right, she did. She was walking with her hands like they were behind her without handcuffs on. Yeah, that was brilliant. What a joke.
And the reason why she did that is because she wanted to be a martyr. She felt that people were going to look up to her because she's making a stand and take it.
Trump, listen, Trump getting arrested politically helps him. Elon Musk, even Chris Rock said he would landslide victory after that. Yeah. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right. All right. All right. We're cut.
Whose behest Trump is getting indicted?
George Soros, I think, has directed Bragg to do it. But listen, we're up against the top. Okay, we'll take our break for the top. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently?
We don't know what they're going to charge him with. So we don't know. We know it's not a federal crime because Bragg's not a federal prosecutor, but someone said on YouTube, Susie, glad you're okay, but next time call the cops, not your wife. When you call 911 on a cell phone, you get routed to the wrong police departments all the time. And I was out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know where I was exactly. So even and this was happening too fast. I didn't have time to get rerouted on a cell phone 911 call. And even if I got 911, I didn't know where I was because I was out in the middle of nowhere. And the reason I called my wife is, I'm going to explain this again when I get back, because my wife and I, we have a locator on our text messages. She can see exactly where I am to the inch on the phone. That's why I called her, so she could call 911 and tell them exactly where I was, because I didn't know where I was. I tell you. Yeah. Well, on text messages, you can, if you allow it, you can, on iPhones, you can see where each other are. And we do that because my wife is disabled, and if there's ever a problem, I need to know where she is, you know? I'm going to go over here and scratch my back on the door. My back is itching. You can do it on Android? Okay. Yep, they're very desperate. These people crack me up. Everybody thinks they know something.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon. Have you ever wanted to protect your home and family, and you think a state-of-the-art home security system is not affordable?
Mm-hmm. Again, guys, listen. There's over 1,400 people in the live stream. Go ahead and like the video. Liking the video, guys, helps a lot. Those likes help grow this channel and get my videos recommended to people that have not yet found me. Helps the channel grow. So make sure you all like the video. And if you're new, subscribe. I'm less than 500 away from 60,000 subscribers. So if you guys, I know with 1,400 people in the chat that a lot of you are not subscribed. So go ahead and subscribe. And you guys could get me to that 60,000 right quick. Yes, yes. Welcome back. Call us on hold, standby. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Okay. You know, everyone's got an opinion out there. Okay. So I heard from someone during the break about these guys, how I handled this attempted robbery of me over the weekend. Okay. Are you back with us, Steve? Okay. So a woman, she met. Check what? Well, of course you are, because I can hear you. You're back. I can hear you. That means you're back. If I can hear you, you're back. So anyway, one of our listeners left me a message. She said, next time, I'm glad you're okay, but next time you're in trouble, call the police, call 911, not your wife. Okay. So let me clarify what I did during this attempted robbery over the weekend of me. When you're on a cell phone and you call 911, it's a mess. You get the wrong police department half the time, and you get rerouted. Okay. I was out in the middle of nowhere. I did not know exactly where I was. I didn't have time to be rerouted to different 911 operators. And even if I got the right one, I didn't know where I was. I had seconds. And my wife and I have locators on our phones for one another, because my wife's disabled and I need to know where she is in case she has an accident and needs me. And you know what I mean? So my wife and I have locators on our iPhones. We can see where we are to the millimeter at any time, anywhere in the world. Okay. I called my wife and I said, Kathy, I'm about to be robbed. If something happens, call 911. You can see where I am on the phone. So she knew where I was, even though I didn't, because she could see it on the iMaps. That's why I called my wife. I wasn't calling like my mommy. I'm in trouble. I was, I thought it was a very smart quick thinking move I made, which could have saved my life, but I saved myself, okay? But it wasn't looking too good for a minute. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I just wanted to clarify why I called my wife these people. I want to tell everyone about my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton. You know, Dr. Appleton is an amazing chiropractic physician. He did what I did not think was possible, and that is rid me of the pain and suffering that I have had for years in my right knee. It hurts so bad. Sometimes my knee would hurt, especially on a day like today where it's rainy. My knee would hurt so bad, I would be on the verge of tears sometimes. I really would. It was that bad. And it was very difficult for me sometimes on the air because, I'd be in pain. I'm on the air and everything else. After just 2 treatments with his laser away pain treatment, my knee pain gone and it hasn't returned. And you know what? It's had to have been about a year. Rid me of my arthritis pain in my joint and my finger after just 1 treatment. His laser away pain treatment works, okay? There's no injections, there's no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. And you know what? I don't, the only time I even remember that I had arthritis pain or knee pain is when I'm talking about Dr. Appleton with you guys. Otherwise, I would never even remember. Out of sight, out of mind. And his laser away pain treatment works on all kinds of pain. So if you are in pain, call Dr. Appleton. No appointment is necessary. Walk-ins are welcome. He's open Monday through Saturday. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need relief, you need help, you need it now. You can find him online at appletonchiro.com. He's a chiropractic physician who wants to rid you of your pain. You can also call him 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. We're talking about the arrest of Donald Trump. Will Ron DeSantis stand up and stop it? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Richard.
Okay, well, okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Regarding the extradition problem, if DeSantis says I'm not going to extradite him, doesn't that also mean Trump could never return to New York State, or he would be immediately arrested?
Well, that's fine. He could. President Trump. If he has an indictment in New York, presidents can't pardon local crimes, only federal crimes. I'm very comfortable with President Trump never leaving Florida again and becoming president and making Mar-a-Lago the White House. That's fine with me. Who wants to leave Florida? This is although it's raining today and a little chilly, this is paradise.
Well, what about his business? Doesn't he still have business in New York?
Sure, Trump Tower and everything's still up there. Absolutely. You can do everything remotely.
Still operate as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at Biden. Biden's checked out with Alzheimer's and he's running the world. I want to throw, see, until this is settled, the reason Trump should not leave Florida, in my opinion, is this. I'll tell you guys. If there's a rally in Texas this weekend, I understand. I've been told that by people. I would not go to the rally, and I would recommend no one go to the Trump rally. In fact, President Trump, if you're listening, please cancel that rally, and we'll reschedule it for the future. I don't care. You want January 6th, part 2? Yeah, yeah. You want January 6th, part 2? I mean, these forces of evil but I think people would understand if he canceled the rally and rescheduled it. I think people would understand. But if he goes to Texas, okay, or any other state, and they come in with that indictment and they go to arrest him, it takes the responsibility off DeSantis, and it puts the responsibility into whoever that governor is, and however it plays out, DeSantis is off the hook. Well, DeSantis can't step in and stop extradition from Texas. So, so we got to have it in a position where DeSantis takes the stand. Greg Abbott is a great guy. I don't know what his future plans are, but I don't think he thinks he's going to be president. You know, he would do the right thing. He would stand up against Bragg and extradition. But we need DeSantis. We need to know where DeSantis is with us or not, and that would certainly let us know. But no, I don't think President Trump should be leaving Florida until this is set. And I don't think this is going to be drawn out too long. I think this will be settled in a week or two. No, maybe today. They may come out today with an indictment after this witness. They were going to do it today, and then Trump's people requesting this witness, this Costello, dragged it out a little bit. And Bragg is letting the witness, like I said earlier, to make it look like he's impartial. But he works for George Soros, Bragg. So he doesn't care. This is not about getting a conviction. Any conviction they got from a New York jury would be tossed eventually at the Supreme Court level or an appellate court somewhere. But Bragg doesn't care about that. He's got his marching orders, and he would have a place in history as arresting a president of the United States. No one's ever done that before. And that's an exciting prospect in Bragg's mind. These are twisted people. Yeah. All right, listen. We're going to take our first break of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631 1-888-465-2631. It's a rainy Monday. We'll be back right after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE 1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig on Oldies 95.9 and 106.9.
Attention wine lovers and travel enthusiasts. Join the luxurious Douro River Cruise in Portugal from August 23rd through September 2nd. This trip offers a unique and intimate experience. You'll enjoy the best of Portugal, from the stunning city of Lisbon to the world-renowned port wine region of Porto. This luxury riverboat provides exceptional service and top-of-the-line cuisine. You'll indulge in local wines and culinary delights. So join and learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime trip. Visit BrianPortugal.com and request a brochure. You're a Florida homeowner, and you know that real estate is selling for the highest prices ever. With so many listing their house, you want your house to stand out above the rest and to get top dollar. That's where licensed real estate agent Elena Castro comes in. She's with Ballesteri Real Estate that's been in business since 1964. Working with homeowners, buyers, landlords, and tenants for over 18 years, Elena Castro knows Florida real estate and has a proven record of smooth transactions, as well as top negotiation talents. When you list your property with Elena Castro, she knows the right listing price to get you multiple offers, so you accept the offer you want. And if you're looking to buy, she can help you with that too. Give Elena Castro a call right now. 954-478-5015. 954-478-5015. And get your house listed and sold for the price you want. 954-478-5015. 954-478-5015.
We're an energy saving and insulation company. Make your home energy efficient, cut your electric bills up to 50%, and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates up to $14,000 per year. Funds available on a first-come, first-served basis. Rebate programs for low to moderate income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barriers. Up to $2,800 available. Hybrid hot water heaters up to $3,750 available. AC units up to $10,000 available. Electric panel upgrades up to $6,600. And after we reduce your home consumption by 35% or more, you get additional rebate money of $4,000 to $8,000 if you qualify. To find out how much you qualify for, call me 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or go to cutmykilowatts.com and fill out the form. This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing
comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Our number one 888-GO-KANE-1. Now, I got another important question to ask you. Really, if this is something that's affecting you or someone you know, it's as important as to whether or not they're going to extradite Trump to New York, and that is, do you suffer from neuropathy? You know, neuropathy is living torture. I've been telling people that, you know, down in the days of waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay, if they just would have given those Al-Qaeda terrorists neuropathy, they would have told them everything. It's that bad. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to make a joke. Neuropathy is torture. You know, Steve, you used to suffer from all these things: numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness, muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet. Some have no feeling at all. Some have all of those symptoms in rotation. And your doctors will tell you, no, there's no cure, there's no treatment, there's no nothing. That's your life now. Get used to being in living torture. Well, that's not the case. Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano not only has a treatment for all of these neuropathy symptoms, they have a treatment that works. It's worked with Steve and many people in this audience. Now, if you can't make it to Pompano, no matter where you are located, call them. They can help you remotely as well. Okay? You can find them online at lighthousemedicalcenter.com. lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Or give them a call. When you call, make sure you mention you heard about them on the radio, and then you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Lighthouse Medical Center, and say bye-bye to your neuropathy symptoms that are, well, making your life impossible. Did you see that Biden's employers sent some people across the southern border, the Chinese nationals? You see this over the weekend? This is insane. Yeah, Fox News, they're on the southern border, and some Chinese nationals are in Mexico walking across into the United States, and they had a little bit of an exchange. It's very short. They really don't speak English. They speak Chinese. But listen to this.
Hello. Hi. Yeah. Do you speak English? English? Are you from China? Yeah. Yes. From China? China. And you're coming to America? Yeah.
Okay, and that's it. There's just 5 Chinese nationals, and I love it when Americans are speaking with someone that doesn't speak English and they try to do the accent. China? You come from China? You know, like that'll help them understand. I love when people do that. It cracks me up. But why are Chinese nationals coming across the southern border? I wonder what they do with them when they get across. They're already in the United States. Fox was on the American side. You think these are, you know, and I'm looking at these guys. There's 2 guys and 2 women. They're all Chinese. They're well dressed. They have not only do they have clean clothes on, they have expensive clothes. These are not poor people. They have very nice clothes, and they have great haircuts. They're well groomed. You know, I think that they're probably spies. You know, they look like professionals. They're dressed almost in business casual wear. They look like they're going to work in Beijing or New York City or something. The way they're dressed, you know, they got some raincoats on, but they're nice raincoats, nicer coats than I have for that. And you look at their clothes. I couldn't see their shoes, but I'm looking at their shirts and pants, and it's like it's business casual. So they're coming up here to, I don't know, spy on something. You know, maybe go to some of the sites up close that the balloon caught, and it's almost a media blackout on this story. You know, I know they're mentioning it on Fox a little bit because one of their guys caught it, but I haven't heard any of them take note of how well dressed they are. You know, you see a lot of migrants and they're not wearing expensive clothes. These people are wearing nice clothes. I mean, They're not shopping at Walmart or the thrift store. They're shopping at Men's Warehouse and stuff like this. I mean, it's very they got to be spies. All right, our number 1-888 go Kane 1. We've been talking about the arrest of Donald Trump all morning, and your thoughts certainly are welcome on this. If Trump is not arrested tomorrow, it is only because he went public. A lot of people, including Neil Cavuto, are attacking Donald Trump for posting on True Social that he was going to be arrested tomorrow, Tuesday. He said over the weekend, I'm going to be arrested Tuesday. And I think that if he's not arrested tomorrow, it's only because he went public. I think it leaked out, and someone either someone told Trump's people, or Bragg's maybe Bragg's people started working things out with Trump's people to set it up. But if Trump would not have gone public with it, he would surely have been arrested tomorrow. I think they wanted to do it by surprise. And I think the fact that that he posted it on True Social spoiled the surprise. And what's going on, I was talking earlier, this is an act of desperation. And if any of you caught Mark Levin, I'm going to reference him in a minute. He did something really disgusting last night on his program, Mark Levin. That's right, I said. And he outed himself as a never Trumper, which he would deny, I'm sure. But I didn't care for what he did last night on his show. But I'll get to that in a minute. But I think what's happened is they have been doing polls with a Trump matchup against any possible opponent, and he is double digits in all the polls. He's double digits in the polls we see. The internal polls that they don't show us, he's ahead in those two. And somehow they've convinced themselves if they get the mugshot, he'll go down in the polls. They don't understand they'd be making a martyr out of him. People that would never even think about supporting Donald Trump would support Donald Trump if something like that happened. So since Trump let this be known, I think was it Friday? I think it was Friday. Trump posted this on True Social. They've been doing polling to find out what the reaction of the American people are, and they're not polling like MAGA people. They're polling Democrats, independents, and Republicans that they think would not vote for Trump to find out what they think about an arrest now that it's come out publicly. And if the opinion of the people they're polling is hardcore against it, they may call it off. They may call it off if these people are desperate. They're doing everything by polls. They got a new scheme every week, but if Trump making it public, very well may have stopped it. Now, what I want to share about Mark Levin, I was telling people last week, if you have a child that wants to join the service, talk them out of it. If you have a relative whose enlistment is up, try to get them to not re-enlist. You don't want to go fight so that Biden can set Hunter up with hooker money and drug money for the rest of his life, which is what the Ukraine war is all about. But last night, Mark Levin did an entire segment talking about how France went bankrupt supporting us during our American Revolution because it was the right thing to do. And then he went into talking about why it's the right thing to do to stand up for Ukraine, like France did for us over 200 years ago. Is Mark Levin going off anywhere? Is he going off over to Ukraine? I mean, what is he talking about? And President Trump has said that he will end. What do they call those, chicken hawks? Is that a chicken hawk? I don't know. Is that what did they call the guys that were pro-Vietnam but didn't go to Vietnam during the Vietnam War? But President Trump said he would end the Ukraine-Russian war. He'd end it right away. So Mark Levin is on a different place than Donald Trump when it comes to Ukraine. But the Ukraine money is their ship coming in Washington. Okay, this is where the big money comes in, and Trump cutting off that racket, the Ukraine-Russian war, could be one of the things that led to them saying, "Okay, we gotta arrest him. We gotta try to stop this. We got to get that mugshot. He's going to mess around with our Ukraine funding money." But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Those of you that caught Mark Levin last night, people always like to tell me what Mark Levin said the night before, and this is the first Monday in months where I haven't gotten a call on Monday. Did you catch Levin last night? Levin said this. Levin said that. I'm not hearing the Levin lovers this morning. I wonder why. All right. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. Liking the video helps a lot. Just reading over a couple articles I'm going to talk about in the last half hour of the show here. Liking the video helps a lot. Yeah, is chicken hawk what you call is that a chicken hawk? Oh, we just broke 1,000 likes. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't know who the 1,000 like was, but thank you to all of you. I just looked and we were over 1,000. Exactly. Well, Mark Levin's right a lot of the times, but he's an old Republican establishment guy. He worked for President Reagan. He's an old establishment guy. How do you think he's a nationally syndicated guy on Fox News, and I'm just here local? You know what I mean?
Years on the
That's right. This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here, our number one, 888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, here's our resident Mark Levin show lover.
Yeah, I love Mark Levin, and I haven't been able to listen to him on the radio, and I don't watch him on Sunday because I think he's boring on Sunday night. So this show.
I've been telling you that.
Oh yeah, but totally disagree with him on this one. He says that you can't compare apples and oranges. The big complaint is that Russia's invaded a sovereign nation. Well, guess what, folks? The world has invaded a sovereign nation, our southern border and now the northern border. And our president, who's a bag of old oatmeal, he doesn't do anything about that. He ignores it. They tell you the border's secure. We're being invaded in this country. I don't give a Ukraine, and we're broke. We're actually broke, folks. I'm tired of going to talk.
Now, let me ask you, because you may know the word, but when you were on the front lines in Vietnam, these guys that were pro-war in Vietnam but didn't go, were those called chicken hawks, or was there another name?
I don't know. They will go to Canada. Every one of us thought, well, you can either go to Canada, or you can tell them that you were gay, and if you were gay, you didn't go in either.
Yeah.
But look how the world has changed. But let me tell you about Vietnam too. I told you the other day. They said we have to be in Vietnam to stop the flow of communism in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
That's why they're getting the same crap now with Ukraine. We got to stop Putin because he's going to go into France and Poland.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. We've made Putin rich with this crap, and we've made Ukraine rich with this crap, and we're broke. And it's enough. Time is over because this president doesn't want to negotiate peace. I don't know what
Well, there's no money in peace. Big guy Pops doesn't get his 10% if there's peace.
Lying is totally a farce, and it is a smoke screen because it was Biden's.
Well, Mark Levin last night, I watched it this morning before I came to work. It really ticked me off. And he did this whole thing. I don't talk down to you in the audience. You're smart people. I talk to you like smart people. And then he talks down. But I must first start with a history lesson of the American Revolution. France went bankrupt supporting us because it was the right thing to do. Just like Ukraine. Ukraine is not democracy. They outlawed oppositional political parties. They outlawed churches, Zelensky. This is not a free democracy over there in Ukraine. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. And let me tell you something. I was going to call his show, but he wouldn't have put me forward on me. Because I would have said to him, what about Vietnam? They said the same garbage. This guy didn't go into the service or anything else. I've seen bodies. I've seen dead bodies. I've seen pieces of people, parts, okay, in bags. And let me tell you, war sucks. And I was against this thing in the very beginning. I said, hey, look, they're killing children. But we are prolonging this by dumping money into it.
And I love how and I love these warmongers. The Palm Beach elite. We got to go to Ukraine. They're all in New York or Palm Beach. And if you want to know what's going on in Ukraine, go to YouTube and look up Pavlo in Ukraine. He just did a video a couple days ago with the beekeepers of Ukraine, and they don't seem worried. If the war's coming. Why is this 25-year-old and his bikini model girlfriend just talking to beekeepers in Ukraine and not running from the Russians?
Right, and as for President Trump going to jail, let me tell you something. That is the biggest, whatever you want to call it, against democracy you could be. I have a right as an American citizen to be able to vote for who the hell I want, and who won't even shoot people.
Remember the guy? Remember the guy that burned down the Fox News Christmas tree, was out of jail, and watched them light up the replacement. I mean, this is insane.
It's a joke in New York, and yet the people in New York hate President Trump. Hey, no matter what, it doesn't matter. We will vote for him. We will put him back in the White House, whether they like it or not. This is now. We have to take a stand with this. I'm sorry, and you're right about demonstrations. Don't go there because they're looking to take us down.
Yeah, do not. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and you know, President Trump, when he said protest, that's vague. He didn't. That doesn't mean go and do anything. You could just talking on the phone right now, like Richie's doing, is a form of protest. You don't go to any protest, any demonstrations, and if you're in Texas, do not go to the rally this weekend. It's bad news.
The biggest bad news and the biggest thing is get your neighbors to get off the couch. Get off the couch when it's election day. Won't go to jail because this won't be settled till after.
Even Chris Rock over the weekend, and he was doing stand up somewhere. He said, "What are these people thinking?" He says, "An arrest. It's like arresting Tupac. He'll sell more records." Yeah. All right, Richie. Take care, Richie. I appreciate the call. 1-888 Kane 1. Oh, by the way, you know, I just had a very eventful weekend with all kinds of things. Someone damaged while it was parked my wife's car, and I'm just, you know, I just can't believe what people do. I didn't even notice this, and my wife, she's like, "There's a dent in the hood of my car," and I was like, "Come on, there's no dent." And I looked at it. I thought it was just the way the light was. There's a dent in the center of the hood on my wife's Mini Cooper. And I know, and I got to get it fixed now. It looks like we're trying to figure out what happened, and the dent is kind of like this is what happened. Someone sat on my. This is these Instagram, you know, these Instagram people. Someone sat on the hood of my wife's car to take a selfie for their Instagram or something, and they were too heavy, and they put a big dent in the hood that's the shape of someone's rear end. It's exactly, you can tell exactly what happened. Don't sit on people's cars in parking lots, people. I don't know why the alarm didn't go off. I don't know. I had to look into that. But Mike, I've been a victim of crimes over the weekend, Steve. It's been a very eventful weekend. I guess so. It's just been a bad. It's just been a bad bit of time. I don't know these people that I'm not going through what Trump's going through, but people are victimizing me of things. All right, our number 1-888 Kane 1-888-465-2631. You know, this if Trump is arrested, this is so far out of the bounds of anything that's ever happened again. I want you guys to understand this. They did not arrest any president for any of the crimes they've committed in the past. Look, George Bush is a war criminal. He knowingly lied about weapons of mass destruction. Bill Clinton was accused of rape and physical assaults by multiple women when he was president. No arrests made. Joe Biden, it's like a crime a week comes public about him. You know, we got those financial crimes that came out. We were talking about on Friday's show from China. And now the committee is saying there's at least 11 more money transfers from China to the Biden realm. And this is just one instance, right? You know, the Clintons, both the Clintons, criminals. If President Trump is arrested, even if he's just indicted and charged, that is the biggest change in American politics that has occurred during anyone's lifetime that's alive today. It is a historical moment, and it's not a good one. that moment, this country no longer is a free country. It's a banana republic.
Creating factors behind the whole.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You know, and you got to really gauge the left's reaction. And the left are not outraged by it. They're excited. Watch MSNBC. You'll see they're so excited about this. They don't care that we're ticked off about it. Yeah, you know, we don't like Bragg anyway, right? They don't care, and they're concerned about what liberal reaction is. And we haven't had one liberal call the show today, which is very unusual. But I've been watching the liberals in the news, and they're very jazzed up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Tom from Florida.
Hey, Tom.
How you guys doing? Even though how much I dislike Trump, this is a benefit towards him. It is going to help him. I mean, unless they go out here, unless they bring involuntary man, just for what happened at the Cap. I mean, exactly what you said. He's going to sell more records like Tupac.
Yeah. All right.
For this.
Joker.
And by the way, Brian, you have got to stop with these conspiracy theories, man. Get a little proof before you start. You got these good-looking Chinamen coming over. They're too well dressed to be, you know. I mean, dude, you just spit conspiracy theories out with no.
If you're walking.
You are a Trump mouthpiece, man.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. That's a compliment. That's a compliment. Yes, I am.
I guess it is, you know?
If you're walking, listen, if you are walking across the southern border from Mexico and the United States and you're wearing expensive clothes and you're not dirty, that says something. They're wearing business casual clothing.
And it came from Burlington Coat Factory. You nailed it all, Brian.
Look at the. Have you seen the? If you look at the video, I tweeted this. It's on my Twitter. You can see.
I saw it. It's outrageous.
Oh, so you know how well dressed they are. So they're wearing business. Yeah.
Did Brian posted it?
No, it's outrageous that Brian takes a picture and obviously
it's a video.
It's worth 1,000 words. Doesn't matter if it's the right words, but it's.
Oh, the right words.
It should be wrong.
You know what I mean?
No, are you saying the picture was wrong?
It's a video, caller.
No, I'm saying, Brian and Steve, all I'm saying is this. You don't know what's going on in the video except people are walking. You're looking and you are drawing conclusions.
No, they said they're from China. They said they're from China and they're wearing, they look like they shop at the Tommy Hilfiger store or something. They're wearing very expensive business casual clothing. And they're even appropriately dressed for the weather.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I think you brought up an interesting thing. What's your theory, caller? Give me an alternate.
My theory, Steve?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? I can't sit here.
Oh, he has no thoughts. He's thoughtless.
Because I don't know what's going on. You keep, as I said on this show before, opinion is the wilderness between ignorance and knowledge. Hold on, let me say that again.
Let me feed it back. So you see if I understood correctly.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
don't have a theory.
Yes, sir.
You don't have a theory, a working theory. Is that correct? To account for why two Chinamen are lost in the desert wearing Hilfiger apparel? I'm curious. Aren't you curious?
You know what? Hey, maybe it was a sightseeing gone wrong.
Sightseeing. All right. Even he's laughing at himself.
Hey, but you have to see what I'm saying.
Yeah. Tom, you are so lucky today.
So fast.
You're so lucky because we have to break for the Gold Report. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right. And at this time each morning, we check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how's the week starting off?
Starting off good, actually. We saw at the end of last week go crazy with the metals.
with gold closing up $69.80 on Friday at $1,989.30. Silver was up 93 cents, closing out the week at $22.60, with platinum up $3 at $9.75, and palladium, the only loser, down $13 at $1,345. Overnight, we saw gold trading all the way up to $2,011, Brian. Big move, and of course, we definitely found resistance up at that number, which we've been expecting. We would think that the $2,000 number has been a heavy, strong resistance for gold, but I think before the week's out, we probably will break through that again. We traded overnight at between $1,968 and $2,011 on gold, currently at $1,977, which is actually down $12.30. Silver down 20 cents right now at $22.40 the ounce, while platinum is up $20 at $995, and palladium is down $15 at $1,330. So this flight to safety is continuing, with gold the number one leader of the pack.
Yeah. So today, would you recommend people pick up gold today? What's your buy recommendation?
Absolutely, great buying opportunity. If you can pick it up with it being down $12 like this is a great buying opportunity. Silver down 20 cents. Both metals look really good.
Yeah, and you know, when William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m., you can call and lock in your price for your metals right then and there. Can you tell people how that works, William Youngman?
Call and lock in the price if you want, and go ahead and wire the money, or come show up within an hour and pick up your metal with either a cashier's check, or if you're a Bank of America, we just transfer from your account into ours, and you walk out with the metal.
Pretty good deal. Give them a call. Again, opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. If you can, stop in. The address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway. William Youngman opens up at 10. All right, William Youngman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the...
It sure is. All right, let's go back to the phones. Thoughtless Tom? Oh.
Or retire.
Yeah.
But my first chapter.
Thoughtless Tom?
Key questions to ask.
Yeah.
This is your theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a whole show on those.
Exactly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once. Twice. Okay, this is the smartest caller that we've had from the left, because he said, you know what, I should not even try. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yep.
Hey, Brian.
How are you, Brian? You know, it is Mark Levin. I did see his show yesterday, and the only history lesson I really ever caught from Mark Levin that was important. When Trump came out, he was a never-Trumper. I think he's been a never-Trumper. He's trying to close you up and paint this with Zelensky as some type of, I don't know, great leader in that.
Yeah, Billy Jack.
Yeah.
The old reference, Billy Jack, yeah.
Yeah. He, I don't know. He, that show last night was really bad. I don't know if it was a low energy show or what it was, but it was terrible.
He's always low energy, but that, you know what that was? That was propaganda. And what he did in the beginning is and I only saw that segment, and I saw it online. Okay, I don't watch Mark Levin's TV show, but I heard about it, went and watched it. He says, I never talk down to this audience. You're smart people. Now, but I must begin with a history lesson of how the French helped us, and everybody knows that, Mark Levin. Okay, and then he says France went bankrupt because they supported us, and we must do the same. You know, the reason France supported us is because they hate the Brits. The Brits hate the French, and they were always at war. Okay. And, you know, and that's why they did it, to try to, you know, stick it to the Brits that just defeated them in the French and Indian War.
Well, you know, there's always an ulterior motive, but, you know, we've shipped over, what, $110 billion already to the Ukraine? You know, I wonder where all that money's going.
Well, 10% went to the big guy. 10% to the big guy.
Hold on. I don't want to wake up at this
That's
point
his commission.
But I just gotta ask you a question. Did you just tell me that the Second World War?
No. We're not. No. We're not talking about the Second World War. Mark Levin said we have to stand up for Ukraine because in the American Revolution, it could not have been won without France's help. France helped us. They went bankrupt. They didn't worry about money. They went bankrupt defending us, helping us in the American Revolution. Not in the Revolution. No. Not in the American Revolution. And he wasn't talking about World War II. He was talking about the American Revolution. And I was so disgusted. See, I tell people, never trust a never Trumper. You know, it's like a pit bull. You know, a lot of people have them, but you ever going to trust a pit? I don't think so. You know? No, I think Mark Levin is a political establishment guy. I mean, he worked in the Reagan administration when he was very young, and he's an establishment guy. Do you think he's a nationally syndicated radio host based on talent? He's not that. He's okay. But come on, he's a hack. He didn't get syndicated on talent. He got syndicated because he's connected.
He's had some good shows, but that show last night was really bad.
Well, he blew his cover. He blew his cover. Donald Trump said that he'll end this war in Ukraine right away. But Mark Levin wants to escalate. You know, this is just how Vietnam started.
Fiasco that was. Darren, what a fiasco that was.
Now, and I'll tell you, during the Iraq War, I did not know how evil this government could be when it came to the military-industrial complex. I supported the Iraq War in 2003. I did not know, I could not conceive that the government would lie for profit and send Americans off to die, but they did. They knowingly lied about WMDs. I don't trust them. And Mark Levin, he's sure not going anywhere. He might visit Ukraine and go on another tour like Ben Stiller or something over there. But yeah, I love when they talk about how we've got to go in. We. He's on Long Island. Exactly. Your kids that didn't go to Oxford, Harvard, Yale, and aren't connected. You know.
I'll tell you now, for the Northeast and Ivy League school, you don't have to go. I mean, this is ridiculous. I hope that people are waking up to this. That people are not going to give us our marching orders anymore and direct us to the wars they want us to fight.
You know, yeah.
Donald Trump, man?
Yes, I am.
That's right.
Well,
yes, I am. Absolutely.
How do you account for the fact that I am too, by the way. But how do you account
for
the fact that Trump
so is Brian, I know that too.
Opposed to, anybody got an answer for me on that?
What was it? You cut out, Steve. I couldn't hear the question.
I didn't hear that.
The question was, how do you account for Trump's position in the
in Ukraine? He's got our position. He wants to end it and wants us out, wants us to have nothing to do with it. He said he'll end it. Yeah, he said he'd end it in a day. He'd end it in 24 hours.
That freaking.
Yeah. And at least, you know, Steve, you're not a chicken hawk, okay? You've got a son who's in the service. Mark Levin, he's a chicken hawk. Yeah, that's right. Your kids. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Let me tell you about Pepsi, the dog. Buy the book. Yeah, right. That's right. Go. Thanks for the call. It's a good name for a dog, by the way, Pepsi. I like that name. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Are you waiting for me?
Sounds like you.
Oh, I don't know, because I was listening to the conversation. Anyway, my name is Lynn, and I'm from Boynton Beach, Florida. All right, and I wanted to ask you a question about, do you think, all right, my theory, Steve, is that Joe Biden had it all planned out, that if he were to be president, because she would end up being, after they figured out how nuts he is and impeached him, that she would be the first female black.
Well, you've seen Joe Biden lately. Does he look like a guy that plans much of anything?
No, but somebody in his people have to know something going on.
I'll tell you what happened with Kamala. This is what happened with Kamala. A couple things. Kamala is very close to Obama, and the Bidens hate Kamala because she called him out as being a racist segregationist in the first Democrat debate. Obama got Biden to pick Kamala. And some people think that, you know, she's not just Willie Brown's girlfriend. And that's how that happened. Yeah.
The little girl in there, you know what I mean, and everything. But
Do you know? Speaking of little girl, you know she's only 5'1", Kamala Harris.
I did not know that.
Yeah, 5'1".
Isn't that how tall Sly Stallone is? I always thought he was tall.
I don't know.
I appreciate your show, and I listen to it every day, guys, and everything. So
welcome.
Trucking and all that.
All right, welcome. That's right. Thanks for the call. Yeah, we have a lot of new listeners to the program, and welcome to you all. And people that are new when you call in, like this nice lady we just spoke to, we take all the calls screenless. So what we do when someone calls in, I just reach over and put the caller on hold, and then click you live on the air. We have someone here, Mike, the board up behind you, but that could answer the phones, but we don't. We screen the calls live on the air because it makes it more interesting. We don't know what's coming up. Right? It could be anybody saying anything, doing anything. It makes the show more exciting for us, and it's got to be more interesting for you guys too, because you never know what's going to happen. One day, someone's going to get us. Good, Steve. It's going to happen. We're going to be humiliated. You know, real quick, I was telling people on Friday. You weren't with us, Steve, but I was telling people last week about. Remember that time I was hosting that show with those people, and I went to the men's room during the commercial, and they locked me out of the studio, wouldn't let me in. And I went into the control room and did the show from the control room. Do you remember that? Oh my goodness. We've had some crazy times here. All right, listen, that's all the time we have for today. But I want to end with this. We're going to be here all week, and I'm going to be telling you guys this all week, okay? And if anyone gives me grief about this, keep your eye on them as fake MAGA. Do not go to any protest. Do not go to any demonstrations. Do not go to any rallies. This is a time to be cool and let things play out. That is what they want you to do. And, you know, President Trump said protest. Protest could be just calling here on this program. Protest could be a post on Twitter or Truth Social. Okay? And a lot of fake MAGA are going to be smoked out this week, like Mark Levin was last night on his Chicken Hawk episode of Life, Liberty, and Send Your Kids Off to War while I hang out here. All right, guys. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane has been here. Thanks so much, everyone. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, guys. I got to run. Thanks for watching. Listen, make sure you like the video and subscribe before you go. All right? I'll see you soon. Take care. I'll have a podcast today. Watch out for it.